Great to have your company on day 3 of the event window for the Hurley Pro here at Trestles. Round 2 unfolding now with one of the local threats, Kolohe Andino, the current world number 11, taking on Jeremy Flores, who's way back in 30th position on the Championship Tour ratings. A dangerous heat for Kolohe. He's never had a real good run through the event here. Jeremy Flores, on the other hand, a 2-time semi-finalist.
Yeah, this is big, but I think for both these guys, not too worried about requalification, backed up well on the QS Tour. And with Jeremy Flores, that is, he's got a couple of big results on the QS. And interesting start here. I think yesterday, you know, he might be carrying last night's heat with him this morning, Ronnie. You know, he got really starved for waves yesterday. It seemed like he sat forever. So he said, I'm not doing that today. I'm going to get a quick one. But that also kind of backfired on him because it was kind of a crummy wave and he fell. So those types of surf where they got some oomph.
Okay, so without priority now, we're seeing Kolohe Andino with a hell of a lot of speed, racing towards a big section. And he just digs into a layback, mixing things up. And again, goes to that layback, but a better version of the move to finish that ride off. Jeremy Flores on his first wave out the back. And he's going to throw everything into the first section. Drift in the tail, but can't ride out.
Wow, so a nice power move there. Layback snap for Kolohe Andino. And I thought that was an interesting way to wipe off speed, too. He even did a layback snap just to kind of put himself in rhythm. So watch this first maneuver. He's going to kind of set pace right here. He's trying to eyeball this section. He sees it now. Wipes off the speed right there. Quick one. Jam. And then now the big layback hammer. So even though it was a short ride, that was some serious power in that last move. So again, this is cool looking, but this is all by design. He's just trying to wipe speed off. So sort of a half move. You know, instead of a snap, he went for kind of a layback snap to wipe speed off, which is original. But here he says, okay, game on. Get on that back foot. There's the tail pad, and he slides the tail with his almost his rear end going down to the deck of his board. So he was putting every ounce of energy into that layback snap.
There's a hint of anti-irons about that ride, isn't there? Just that raw first turn.
Great call. It did look like anti-irons. And Jeremy Flores, you know, he's no slouch in small surf either. We've been talking about how he's kind of the man in big surf, but he's got that move, also the anti-irons had on lock, that club sandwich, that nose pick. Jeremy's very comfortable with that move, that are going to be there what seems like the next 10 years. It's going to be tough to take them out.
Well, here we go. Here is Flores. His first wave. It's not going to factor in at the end of this heat, so he has to make this one count. First turn was solid. And he has drifted the tail twice now as he drives up into this third section. And he gets a layback jam of his own in the mix. Nice way to finish that ride. And Andino is going to get a chance to answer here. Again, just looks to build some speed, but he's going to kick out of this one. It just got away from him a little bit. Just under 21 minutes remaining. We'll see some replays in a moment. Here it is, Jeremy Flores.
So Jeremy, just trying to match this wave. What's on offer? You know, that's the cool thing about lowers. You know, not every wave's the same. And so a couple of nice flowing moves there, throwing some spray. And then because that wave closed out, it allowed for Jeremy to go for a power layback snap again. So very smart choice of moves there for Jeremy.
You know, doing events, you know, I want to go out and I want to put on performance for myself. You know, I'm not here just to roll over. I'm here to go and try and surf as best I can, and that's what I try and do each and every day. But yeah, look, I'm having fun, and it's just a really different feeling. You know?
One last question. I know you got some tape on the ankle. You had that injury before J-Bay, took the win there. How's that ankle feeling? Yeah,
look, I think it's probably about 80% there. It's been a really slow one. You know, I just haven't been doing too much. Sort of sat on the couch for a month and got fat, which was fun. But yeah, look, it's coming good. You know, the WSL medical team's been incredible. You know, Mark Suzuki and Dana have been working on it, so it's been great.
Mick, always a joy to watch. Thanks for your performances.
Have a great day, guys.
Good on you, Pete. And getting some important questions in there. Read the ankle. It's been a slow healing process. We know that even injured Mick is able to overcome the pain and go on to win events. And with one of the biggest heat score totals of the contest just moments ago, he's going to be a threat moving forward.
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, talking the world title talk, I think that's so interesting. I definitely want to get your opinion in there too as well, Ronnie. as we see Jeremy Flores, nice quick snap. Again, the boys right now kind of leaning on that layback snap, which is very cool, and a lot of speed in that one there. Radical turn for Jeremy. Nice recovery. Even though he bobbled a bit, he held on. So right here, he got great vision. You can see Jeremy concentrating on that section that he wants to tag. Now that he's got his wish, that was the perfect coping right there. So it was begging for a tail release, and he responded. So what's maybe the most impressive for that maneuver for me from Jeremy is how he had great reflexes. You know, sometimes you can sort of force a maneuver that doesn't belong there. That was very a smart choice from Jeremy.
Just looking for a backup on that ride. He got a 4.13. But let's look back at the previous wave at an 8.17. The judges loving that combination of 3 major turns.
Wow, for sure. I think, again, that's kind of been the theme today is the judges are stoked on power. And Jeremy had maybe a bigger section. Kolohe's 6.67. He also had a nice layback snap, but this was a more of a quality wave, wasn't it, Ronnie? And so right here, he's got a ton of speed, keeping that flow up. Even though he got a big tail slide in there, he was focused on that third section, and here it is. He sees it and put so much pressure on that tail block. And what was cool about that, Ronnie, is he didn't go for too much slide. He arced it right under the lip line. So because he got that clean water, he got some torque out of that car.
I think we'll get back to that topic at some point during this heat, Ross, but at the moment we've got set waves approaching, and Jeremy Flores looking to get rid of a 4.13. Nice first turn, just transitioning at this point. Wants to get down the line, bashes it one more time. Just kicking his tail nicely out there at the moment, Jeremy Flores. Some very controlled efforts, skirting across that coping pretty nicely.
Well, he did well for how big that wave was. This is easily the biggest set we've seen in this contest. These are nearly double overhead. Huge wave coming Kolohe's way, and it's got some shape.
An easy decision to swing on this one as Andino again just loads up the speed, driving off the bottom now. Beautiful layback, almost losing the tail for a moment, but reeled it back in. Going to rail. Bit of foam on the face, making things a little difficult, but so far so good. As Andino takes to the air and pulls a very difficult air reverse on the end section, and it feels good. He celebrates with both fists pumping.
Right in front of some hometown grommets right there, big time. That was pure passion coming out of Kolohe right there for that claim. He felt the pressure from Jeremy, so he's got to be very stoked that he's responding, Ronnie.
This heat was getting away from him. Heat number 7 of round 2 here at the Hurley Pro Trestles. Jeremy Flores, the current world number 30, up against the current world number 11, Kolohe Andino, and this will be Kolohe's best ride. Might even be the best wave of the heat so far.
Wow. Well, again, this is the biggest set we've seen in this contest. So this southwest swell is coming in full force right now. So a nice snap there, right there. Nothing really too fancy. So he needs to pick up the pace, and I give Kolohe credit. He answered the call. I think really to break into that excellent range, he needed a huge finishing move there, and it was a tricky section. This is that layback carve, but again, he had to cut it just a little short. So even though that was very cool and stylish, he threw some buckets right there. That was smart surfing. He cut it short because he had to get going. So a long section in front of Kolohe, steps back on the gas, again cuts this short. So right here's where the wave maybe could have, for the judges could have said, this is nothing too special, just a couple of snaps. And I think what's so cool about Kolohe is he picked up on that. So he said, you know what, I'm not going to just hit the lip here. I'm going to do what I do best, and that's huck my tail towards the beach. There he's springing. Now he's going to huck the tail, get the grab just to make sure, because it was a tricky section. That section was kind of going away from him, which is not what guys that are going to go for airs want. They want that reverb. So a very tricky section for Kolohe, and he pulled it off, Ronnie.
The height wasn't really there, but that air was so impressive because the section was so difficult. Here's the replay of Flores' ride.
First wave of the set always has more wrinkles on it. You can see all the chop there. I thought Jeremy did a great job dealing with all that chatter, but it affected the quality of the moves, which wasn't really his fault. He did a good job staying on his feet, but there's a score.
6.43, so he did better his heat score total, and as a result, Kolohe Andino needs a 7.94 to get himself into the lead from that last ride. The judges having a good think about it. I think sometimes with those air reverses, they look at them pretty closely because there was a couple of things missing, even though for me it was an amazing section to do that air on. The height wasn't quite in that air, and he only rotated halfway before landing. So where's that going to take that move?
Well, I think where the judges will be excited was the height of the wave. You know, the bigger the wave, the more difficult it is. That means when you land, it's going to really stick, and it's going to be tough to ride out of it. So I think that the quality of that wave is going to help.
There's still a bit of time on the clock here, and he's only chasing a 7.68. But I'm sure that this run of poor results is really starting to damage his confidence as we go to the recap.
Yeah, very cool here. 6.67 for that speed wipe into the drop wallet for Kolohe and Andino. And then, you know, Jeremy Flores kind of opened up this heat with this layback snap a little better right there on the green wall. Just got a little extra spray up in the air and got an excellent score running, 8.17. So right when we were really starting to kind of forecast a win from Jeremy, the biggest set of the day came in, and a tough wave to read for Kolohe and Andino. But he showed up prime time right here. This is what he's best at. Tricky section, no problem for Kolohe. He goes for that air, gets the grab in. You know, that section was not calling for an air, and he refused. It almost felt like, you know what, I'm refusing to lose his heat. And he went for the air and pulled it off.
Refusing to fall off too. I mean, the way he came down was almost awkward. His body wasn't in the position that he usually gets to. And he's after a 7.68. He's going to let this wave go. So Kolohe just happily picks it off. He'll look to increase his lead by getting rid of a 6.67. And a wild old turn there. That wave just tapered off, unfortunately.
Huge tail waft. So impressive move of just the one. And Kolohe knows that wave didn't have anything left, so he kicked out.
Nothing like we've seen from these two competitors throughout this great battle, but Jeremy is forced to use his priority with just 1 minute to go. Let's see what he can do with it. Just a set up turn straight into a nice hack. Has to drive hard to get around the section. Has some nice speed and a clean wall to work with here. Really letting go of some nice turns and a big finish. Bringing that tail right around behind him. Kolohe Andino is up. 40 seconds to go now. So the judges, they'll wait and see what Kolohe does with this ride. He might be able to push the requirement a little higher for Jeremy Flores. As he finishes very, very strong on the end section. Checks his watch, realises there's only 20 seconds to go and makes his way to the beach to a huge applause.
That was a great way to end this heat. 2 jabs to the chin by each guy. That was very confronting right there. I think, you know, there's a chance that Jeremy got that score. He needed 7.68, but then it seems like Kolohe and Andino did the same thing right behind him. And in fact, I think that was maybe the best arc I saw out of Kolohe. That carve was nice out the back.
Pretty interesting when you just think about the size of the sets, though, that we had early on in this heat. There were definitely some quality waves at the end, and he received a 6.87 on his last wave. A great performance by both competitors. Another strong heat, but it's Kolohe Andino marching on to round 3.